Welcome to East Lansing, Michigan, this afternoon at the place they call the Woodshed, on the banks of the Red Cedar, home to the Michigan State Spartans, where they are ready to start another campaign. We've got a top 25 matchup on hand, two of the premier teams in the land looking to make a statement that will resonate. As we'll see the number 17 team in the country, the Pittsburgh Panthers, taking on the 20th ranked team in the land, the Michigan State Spartans. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. Panthers have been waiting and finally the moment is coming and the opening of the season. No return coming. He'll call for the fair catch. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Single back formation, and they give it to him. Finds that crease, and he's got 4 out to the 29. One of the big storylines coming into this year was the rising temperature of the coach's seat, and the process of cooling things off starts now.
All offseason, this coach has said the right things. I'm not worried about it. I'm not focused on it. I'm just worried about our team. But, David, let's be real. He's got to win games. There is an expectation at this program to win, and if he doesn't start fast this year, that hot seat's only going to get hot.
No, and then the chirping starts, and everybody's going to be talking about his job. The pressure builds, and then what happens? Sometimes you lose the locker room, so important to get off to a good start. Try to quiet some of those haters and some of those doubters.
They've got it at the 36. It's a 1st and 10. Leaves it with the running back. He is going nowhere. Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Stopping the run is about physicality. It's about I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you up front. Really nice job by the defense, showing their strength, bowing up, stuffing the run.
Got stuffed on 1st down. It's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw. Coming after him. That pass is incomplete, and they might be fortunate it wasn't knocked free for a fumble. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, this defense felt coming into the game that if he was going to try to throw from the pocket, they could get to him and affect his accuracy, and they did on that last play.
They line up, and it is a long way to the sticks from here. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. Swings it out to his running back.
That's why, as a defense, you feel okay playing man coverage on 3rd down, because you know you've got linebackers and you've got players on your defense that can cover these dangerous running backs mano-a-mano. Nice job tackling in the open field.
4th down, and the punt team sends it the other way. And good work by the coverage team to knock down the return man. This crowd bringing the energy and noise early. Touch pass on the jet sweep. Nice move to keep running. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a 1st down.
how many ways can I make you think, right? First drive, out the gates, getting it to my playmaker, going full speed across the formation with a touch pass. You better be able to adjust to it. Then when you adjust to it, I'm going to have an adjustment to your adjustment because I'm always right. I'm an offensive guy.
Good job running tough and behind his pads as he gets up to the 38-yard line.
I know it's sexy to throw the football, but if you can pound it away and get these kind of gains, they will just add up, wear the defense down, get first downs, and ultimately get some points.
Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on first down. It's 2nd and 3. Looking to throw, it's Kendricks. Fires to the wideout. Got a man in the middle. Brought down at the 47-yard line after the 15-yard pickup.
Well, this offense knew coming into this game they wanted to try to attack the middle of the field in the passing game, and they're able to execute the in route there.
And the Panthers have it with a 1st and 10. He's going to pass. Gets it out quickly. He's there to make the stop, but the damage has been done as they pick up the first down on the throw and catch.
QBs, when you see zone coverage, man, can you manipulate defense when you have a good pocket and you've got time to throw. He had a little bit of time to throw. You can move guys with your eyes. That drag comes wide open. Good throw, good catch, first down.
With the first down, they'll put it in play from the 33. They'll run it out of the shotgun. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
You know, it's so important for offenses to want to keep third downs managed. The way you do that is by having success like that, running the football on first down.
After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6. Off the play fake. They're bringing heat. Finds the tight end. He almost picked up the first down on that one, but he'll be just a little bit short.
A nice job by the defense there, tackling the catch and smothering the tight end. They know this offense is going to try to find him in the passing game in a lot of different situations. That time, perfect coverage, and nice job bringing the big guy down. Not easy to do.
This crowd trying to make life miserable for this offense. On 3rd and short, trying to impose their will and move the chains. He is tackled, but it'll be a fresh set of downs.
I think throughout the week in practice, when they were game planning their opening script, I don't even know if they envisioned it going as well as it has. This has been beautiful. Nice balance, really nice rhythm. It feels like everything they're dialing up here on their first drive of the game is working to perfection.
Might as well give it to him again. Noses his way forward, maybe gets one. They'll mark it at the 18.
I like feeding my guy. I like getting my running back touches, feeding the ball so he can break some of those big runs. But I'm also okay with these little ones. Set the tone, stay balanced.
The noise level is relentless here on 2nd down. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
Great job by the defense. Everybody firing off the ball, hitting their guys, holding their gaps, running to the football, nowhere to go.
The crowd getting behind this defense as they try to get a stop in the red zone. To the air, it's Kendricks. Looking down the middle. And it's picked off right at the goal line. And the offense makes the tackle in frustration after the interception. Drive comes up empty, and it's a turnover.
This quarterback was having success throwing on the opening drive of the game, in large part because it's a lot harder to throw on 3rd down when the defense is expecting it, like you saw right there. They were ready, had a really good coverage call, and they get the INT.
Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. That last drive won't go on the highlight reel after ending in a punt. They'd like to be more productive this time, David.
And I think this offense has to be a little bit more balanced. Find a little balance between the run, Jesse, and working in that pass.
And I think, too, David, it's just going to take a spark. It just takes one play to get this thing picked up and going.
From the 17-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. So first down didn't exactly go according to plan. Let's see what they can dial up on second down.
Reese, I got him right where I want him, okay? I'm going to throw the football. Now I can get back in shotgun. Let's forget the running game stuff. We're going to play a little pitch and catch and see how good that secondary is.
He's back to throw on second down. And that pass is intercepted. Taking it the other way. And he will roll into the end zone. Touchdown, Pitt. They're on the board first here in the season opener.
He made that look a lot easier than it is. When you break on a football, you got to see it and go at the perfect angle. The free safety leaves his spot, goes and gets it, and then does the hard part, takes it back to the house for 6.
And the PAT makes it 7-0. They're about to kick it away, and the defense probably can't wait to get back out there after the pick 6. And he's coming out of the end zone. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. Well, the good news is they threw a touchdown pass last time. It was just to the wrong team, Jesse.
Well, that's an unfortunate part of the game for quarterbacks, but guess what? They do have it, so you've got to be able to turn the page here and lead this offense.
Well, I think you know this defense is going to be aggressive. They're going to jump routes. They're going to play aggressive. You got to take advantage of that. Maybe use that this time to your advantage.
He wants to pass it on second down. Missed his receiver there. It's incomplete. So 3rd and short from inside the 20. You convert here, and this drive takes on a different complexion. From the gun, wants to pass. He's going to fire deep. Into double coverage, and they made him pay. It's intercepted. Bringing it back. And on the interception return, he'll finally be stopped at the 33.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
The Pittsburgh offense is back on the field. Well, they had that last drive moving a little bit, David, but then the mistake just crushed them.
Yeah, and those mistakes are going to happen. You're going to throw the football, you're going to throw interceptions. But I think I stay aggressive with this offense. I get back to what I did in the first part of that drive that made me successful.
I agree, David. Just turn the page if you're a quarterback, right? On this drive, you did a lot of good things there leading up to that pick. Forget about it, move on, play the next play.
As they get set to snap it, just about to reach the end of the quarter. Looking for a man. It's Kendricks. Makes a connection. And they give him enough for the first down. They'll move the chains, and let's see if they can snap it one more time here in the first.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, 10-7, Michigan State 0.
Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. He almost punched it in for 6. They'll get him down at the 1-yard line.
And this guy is elite. There's a reason why he starts in this offense. You just saw the speed and the open field running ability on that last play. And this is a guy that is going to be key to the entire season for this offense.
They'll keep it on the ground for first and goal. And the defense stuffs the run, and the ball will remain at the 2. Pitt pushing the pace. He's going to the right, looking for a path to the end zone. And they get him down.
The big defensive tackles in the middle, they're not always the best pass rushers, but they are strong, and I say country strong. They put their hands on you, you feel it. They lock people out on the line of scrimmage. They create separation. They wrap running backs up, and usually they don't get out of the midst of those big boys.
Going right back to the well, and this time he finds water. Gets it into the end zone for the touchdown.
And this offense is firing on all cylinders right now. Starting the year, game 1, creating a little bit of a pad and separation at the end of this first half. But you can see why so many people are really excited about this offense this season.
And the extra point pushes the lead to 14. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. And they finish it off with a short plunge into the end zone. About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown. He thought about bringing that out for a half second, but he'll take a knee and they'll bring it to the 25. Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. This is when the pressure can ramp up a little bit on an offense, David, when they start feeling the heat to answer a score. And it's picked off for the 3rd time today. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
Dude, 2 drives, 2 INTs. I don't know who the backup quarterback is, but I might start thinking about doing something there. Goodness gracious, keep turning the football over. Can't do it. Can't put your defense in a bad spot time after time.
Great spot to start this drive for the offense. The run from the shotgun. They'll wrestle him down just short of the first down. I don't even think they're going to bring out the chains to measure this one.
And that would be the definition of first down success. Putting yourself in a good position. It's 2nd and inches. I can do whatever I want next. I can take a shot down the field. I can run the football and get a new set of downs. Like, nice first down execution.
So after the first down run, here's 2nd down. The give to the back. They finally make the stop, but the big run is plenty to move those sticks for the first down.
Wow, the running back there showing you his skill set as he's able to rip off that one for a first down.
On 1st and 10, trying to strike from the 15. They'll run behind the big guys on the right. Pulled down after a pickup of 3. Balls at the 13. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Softened him up with a run. Now to throw. He makes a grab. And he will score. Touchdown, Panthers.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
And he puts through the extra point. About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. What kind of field position can he help them with on the return? He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Will have to use its first time out of the half. Line gets set, 1st down. He's looking to throw it. Fires to the middle. And it is another interception. Just a terrible struggle for this quarterback. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
Well, I love the job by the coaching staff there defensively, matching the personnel of the offense, putting their dime package out on the field. So you bring out the extra defensive back. You're anticipating a pass. Perfect timing to run that personnel, and you get the pick.
The Pitt offense back on the field and ready to roll. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt. Everything their play caller is dialing up, these guys offensively have been able to go out and execute, David.
Yeah, and it's just maintaining the lead. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got a big lead. Let's just keep piling it on until they find an answer.
So he gets stuffed on 1st down, and now you have the offensive coordinator thinking a little bit.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to throw it now on this 2nd play. But what are we going to see defensively? Now that they know we're throwing, might they blitz us? Do I have to leave more guys in to block? There's a real cat and mouse game going on right now between these two coaching staffs.
It's a reverse. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
You know, as an offense, oftentimes you try the reverse play because you're trying to take advantage of a defense over pursuing and by a lot of defensive team speed. Didn't work right there. Great discipline by this defense.
And they don't want to waste this great field position here on 3rd and long. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. And that'll be incomplete. They certainly weren't afraid to take a shot there, and now it's 4th down. And they're going to head out to line up for a field goal. And this will be a 41-yarder coming up from the right side. And he missed it. No good. Missed the field goal, but still up by 3 touchdowns and 21 points. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. They've got nothing done so far, and they already find themselves in a 3-possession hole, Jesse.
Yeah, and as a head coach, you're wondering, what didn't I say? What didn't I do to get my team ready to go? Because we look like we're sleepwalking at this point, Dave.
Yeah, nothing went well in the first quarter. You just say refresh. Like, let's try to find a way now. Chip into this lead. Try to make it somewhat manageable when you get to the half.
And they'll finally get him down after a terrific pickup. This guy fits that Spartan quarterback mold, a guy who makes plays, a Jeff Smoker, a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, a guy that you can depend on. You got to find that guy that can complement who you are and what you are, and so you can get a lot of the fans going, go green, go white. Find the complement at quarterback to this offense.
They'll throw it on first down. That's caught. It's Wells. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down.
And you just wonder now, is that the play that's finally going to wake this offense up? They've been sluggish throughout the entire first half, but could that be the thing that finally just gives them a little bit of a jolt and leads them to scoring some points here before this half is over?
First down here with time for maybe one more play until the 2-minute warning. We've reached the 2-minute warning, and this thing has been one-sided, and they hope to at least have something to feel good about going into halftime. Not the most productive half for this offense so far, but finally starting to get it in gear. 1st and 10. He wants to throw. Fires to the right. And he got a hand in there, knocks it away, incomplete.
Man, this quarterback is living dangerously right now. Obviously, he threw a pick on the last drive. He's trying to complete that throw, but the defender gets a hand on it, tips it up in the air. That's oh-no. That is an oh-no situation. They're lucky that one hit the ground.
Here comes the offense on 2nd down. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. Catch in the middle. It's Clay. And they'll finally catch up to him, but not before a big chunk of yardage is picked up.
And I love the awareness by the wide receiver on that play, because I'm not sure that route was supposed to be that deep. You got to wonder if the receiver decided maybe to adjust the route a little bit to make sure that he got the first down.
The Spartans come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Looking for a physical attack from the gun.
Man, that D-tackle is a freak athlete. Did you see him come out of his stance and beat the offensive lineman, getting to the running back? Cat-like quickness.
Didn't get much on 1st down. It's 2nd and 9. He's looking to throw. And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
I love the job here by the linebacker. He just kind of floats and he's shuffling and he's waiting to see which way the quarterback's going to go with the football. Not able to snag it out of the air, but hey, batting it away, it's a big-time play.
3rd down conversions are a huge stat, and this one would be a doozy if they can pull it off. From the gun, wants to pass. A shot toward the end zone. And here's the 5th interception by this quarterback.
That is one the quarterback is going to want to have back. It's touchdowns or it's checkdowns once you get down to the red zone. You can't get too aggressive and greedy trying to fit the football into small windows, and as a result, QB throws a pick.
The Pittsburgh offense is back on the field. We talk about settling for points, but sometimes when you have to settle for nothing, David, it can be demoralizing.
Yeah, and it can definitely be frustrating. And I think it leads you to say maybe I go for it more. But, Jesse, I think this offense just needs to put another drive together and just finish strong.
Yeah, and be a little bit less predictable, too, especially as they get closer and closer down to the end zone.
after picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. Scanning the field, it's Kendricks. He hurls one deep down the left side. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge game if he could have held on. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. He'll take another shot here. Catch inside the 25. And he ran away from the defense to take it in. Touchdown, Panthers!
Now, a lot of times you see those receivers, as soon as they get by the DBs, you know, that hand goes straight up in the air. I got him. I got to step on him. He got to step on him. And the ball was thrown perfectly out in front. You could see he runs underneath it, gets it, and gets the long touchdown on the go route.
The kick is up and good, and put one more on the lead. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Maryland is currently working from behind, but how many times have we said that and then witnessed something special happen? This time of year, you never know. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Kentucky. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. Now you find out just how much of a gunslinger you are. Will you roll the dice here late in the half, Dave?
And you know the defense is going to be really, really conservative, so I think it's an opportunity to be able to take a shot, see how much of a chunk you can get before then you decide really, Jesse, how you want to finish the half.
You just can't turn it over and throw a pick if you're the quarterback here. You have got to be so smart if you're going to be aggressive with your decision-making.
You open a drive like that, and you've got some operating room. It's first down from the 38. Looking to move it through the air. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it before he wanted to. The defense put the heat on.
Great job by the QB just avoiding a negative play. I know you don't come away with a big completion, but he should have got sacked. I don't know how he was able to get out of that. Great individual effort by him.
And the incompletion brings up a 2nd down for this offense.
Get set.
Quarterback making adjustments with his receivers. He lobs one high down the left side. Got it. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half.
Timeout, Michigan State.
Running out of time here in the first half. They're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. Turning to the running game on 1st and goal. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. They'll use a timeout right before halftime. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays.
Timeout, Michigan State.
One more play before the teams head to the locker rooms. He wants to throw here on 2nd down. Grabs it in the middle. He'll be brought down, and that's the final play of the half. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update. And the Spartans will kick it away to crank up the 2nd half. And he takes this from inside the 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Pitt offense back on the field and ready to roll. They'll start the third quarter with the run. Got it across the 20 and out to the 23, a pickup of 4.
And it's just simple. Simple first down run, showing your physicality, setting your offense up in a good spot.
Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Give to the back. Just enough there to get it to the 25, a pickup of 2. They'll try to move the chains on 3rd and short from the 25. It's a draw. And there were some collisions in there. The D finally stops him short of the marker. Pitt will have to boot this one away. They'll have to punt for the first time this afternoon. He'll call for the fair catch here. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. They think there's room to run to the right here. And he tried to string out that run, but there was nowhere to turn it upfield, and he's forced out of bounds for a loss.
It's been that kind of day for this offense, right? It seems like anything they're dialing up just simply isn't working. But at this point, David, I don't know if it's even worth trying to run the ball.
Probably not. You're getting destroyed right now. Nothing has gone your way, and when you're down this much, I think the running game is used sporadically, not as a staple. Let's throw this football around and see what can happen.
They'll decline the penalty here and let the result of that play stand. They're going to keep this drive going. They'll have to make a play on 3rd and long from the 26. Quarterback checking the play. A little too anxious along that offensive line. That'll be a false start. Mental errors like that just kill drives. We'll see if they can overcome it. Offense breaks the huddle. It's third down. He's looking downfield to throw. That pass is well off target. He got hit as he was trying to throw, and they can't convert on third down.
And the defense at this point understands that the offense is going to have to try to throw the football, all right? They already got a lead, so they're now pinning their ears back and getting after this guy, trying to get him to the ground.
Fourth down, and the punt team sends it the other way. Running it back, it's Robinson. He was able to get that ball up to the 48-yard line before he stopped on the return. The Pittsburgh offense is back on the field. They missed an opportunity to extend this lead the last time they had it, Jesse.
Yeah, they got to be able to regain that momentum, right? Go back to what was working earlier on in this one. And, David, to me, that starts with being the more physical team.
Well, I definitely agree. Being the more physical team, but understanding the situation of the game. You're still winning. You got the football back. Now put a nice drive together and execute.
Are you kidding me? Really? Are you kidding me? Do it! You can do better.
They'll put it in play from the 41 on first down. They'll ride the hot hand. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
Yeah, and listen, the offense has had their way, and they've had so much success and so much production. But listen, at least the defense got a rep. You know, maybe this gets you a spark. Maybe this gets you some energy. Maybe we'll see a little bit more life from this defense.
Yeah, they may not win the game, but I think this defensive coaching staff at this point, based on how this game has gone, they're just trying to find things to build off of. And maybe that's something they can point to as they get ready for their next opponent, of things they did right and things that they got to do more consistently moving forward.
After losing a couple on that last play, here's 2nd and 12.
Here we go.
Gives it to the back on the draw. And he finds some solid space, makes a nice game before the defense is able to stop it.
And oftentimes running backs love drop plays because there's less traffic in front of them. The offensive line is selling pass, the quarterback's selling pass. They don't get the handoff until the very last possible second, so the D-line's rushed away upfield, and now it's so much easier for these backs to find their holes and pick their lanes.
Defense is about filling out the offense and what they like to do. What are they going to do in third and short, third and medium, third and long? So far, the offense is winning. Defense is going to need to make some adjustments.
This Pitt offense has been clicking on this drive. Defense going to jam these receivers right off the line. From the gun, the running back has it. They get him on the ground, but not before he rumbles all the way to the 5.
You got to feel good for this kid, too. He worked so hard this past offseason to put himself in position to be the starting running back, and he's got a lot of skill, guys. He's got speed, open field running ability. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense this season.
On 1st and goal, let's see what Pitt does here. They'll go with a direct snap. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! And the punishment has been extended.
And everybody's getting in on the fun now for this offense. From the opening whistle, they have been up and down the field. Starters are scoring. You've got backups in the game now. And I love the play calling. These guys came to your school to play in this offense to score touchdowns, so let them go do it. Make this defense prove they can stop it.
And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Baylor has the lead right now, but even though we've heard sick 'em a bunch, this has been a nip-and-tuck affair inside McLean Stadium. They're up by 11 over Colorado. Just another week of college football where we've come to expect the unexpected. Fellas?
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. The last time we saw this offense, we had to look quick. It was a 3-and-out, Jesse.
They just had no rhythm in that last drive. So someone's going to have to step up and make a play, David, and get this thing going.
Yeah, let's find some juice. Find your guy. Find those plays that you know you can run inside out, forward, backwards. Get some first downs. Get some positive momentum.
Offense working from the pistol. Power football with the run. At the 35, he's got room. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a first down for this offense.
A lot of times when you think about speed back, speed, you think on the edge. You don't think in between the tackles. You don't think about breaking tackles. They try to break your ankles. The problem is when you're trying to run there as fast as you possibly can, a lot of times you don't get to put a good hit on him. And in turn, you see he breaks tackles and makes big plays.
Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run.
I never know if it's grammatically correct to say a team is being out-physicaled. You hear it a lot in football, though. That's happening in this game. They are just not getting the push they need all game long up front to have any success when they decide to run it.
On second down, he'll fire. And he's thrown another interception. He'll try to take it back. And a big return after the INT sets up the offense for this possession.
And that's just excellent coverage. Man, cover one, nowhere to throw the football. Look at everybody playing man. You still got the safety in the middle of the field. Nobody open, and if I'm the QB, man, I don't need to force it. I don't force it into tight windows if it's not there. He throws it, unfortunately, gets the interception. Bad decision by the QB there.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. From the gun, the ground game.
He's out of bounds at the 7-yard line. First and goal, Pittsburgh.
On the double. All right, now let's get in that end zone.
That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, Pittsburgh 35, Michigan State 0.
They'll try to open the quarter by cashing in on this big opportunity deep in the red zone. They'll use the running game on first and goal. Touchdown, Pitt! And the route is on.
Well, these players came together. I've been so impressed, not just by the talent, but also by their composure. Handling this kind of environment in the first game of the season, this says a lot about the leadership in that locker room.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. They didn't have a whole lot of real estate in front of them when they took over possession, but they wasted no time. Couple of plays into the end zone. Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. The ball squirts through the end zone. That'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. Mistakes are going to happen, as they did on that last drive. Now, how will they respond, Jesse?
And this is the kind of guy who's going to take full accountability. That was my bad. That's on me. I'm about to lead this offense now down the field and score some points.
Dang, Palmer, I wish I would have played with you. I didn't play with many quarterbacks that were just like, yeah, my bad. Hey, guys, I got this. Sorry about that. It was more, you should have ran a better route.
Just sort of a relentless run, getting everything that was available to him, and they'll mark him down at the 40. Unless there is a dramatic turn of events, this is not going to be a way to cool off that hot seat.
And they're going to have to be able to handle adversity and handle the outside noise moving forward, because losing this game in week 1, all the detractors, all the naysayers, that noise is going to get louder. That hot seat is getting even hotter. And I think all eyes are going to be on this program now, David, seeing how they turn the page and move on from this.
And I give you Exhibit A. Jesse Palmer just turned up the hot seat. All eyes are on them. They got to win. They got to do this. Starting off on the wrong foot. This is exactly what happens. It becomes a distraction. We're going to find out how good of a coach he is, and we're going to find out how loyal these fans are really quickly in this season.
And that's just the kind of game it's been for this quarterback in this offense. You got a great game plan all week long. You're watching it throughout practice. You think you're going to have a chance to light up the scoreboard, but they're just not able to hook up. You've got to give this defense a ton of credit. They've done a great job in coverage. They've been breaking on passes. They've had their number, and that's why they're leading by as much as they are.
Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. Wants to throw. It's Marshall. He'll take a shot. He's got it in the end zone. Touchdown, Spartans.
Yeah, good for them. They put together a drive. They got a touchdown. It's been a bad day. I mean, this is a day they're going to want to forget. They're getting destroyed, but at least you get some positive vibes. Maybe finish this game on a little bit of a high note, a little bit.
And he knocks the extra point through the uprights. They put together a 5-play, 75-yard drive. And the capper coming on that 48-yard touchdown dart. Fielded in the end zone, it's Robinson. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. The Pitt offense back on the field and ready to roll. This has been exactly the way you draw things up, David. The offense has really been moving the football.
And it's been great execution. They've done exactly what they wanted to do. Build the lead. Now Palmer's a different animal. Now you got to protect it.
You can tell they were paying attention in practice this week in the film room, because they have gone out, everybody right now on the same page.
They'll start this one from the 29 on first down. They'll give it to him again. And they try to run inside, and there is nowhere to go.
It's an offense that takes pride in being physical. They try to get it going on the ground, but no gain on that one.
Just nowhere to run, not a lot of wiggle room for the ball carrier.
This defense came in knowing that they had to match their physicality. Let's see if they can keep it up.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Defense showing plenty of pre-snap movement of their own. Trying to get to it. And the quarterback is snowed under.
Oftentimes with play action, you're asking the quarterback to hold on to the ball a bit longer, and you're asking this offensive line to hold up and pass pro a bit longer. Against this athletic front seven on defense, it's going to be tough.
I'm not positive, but that first down marker might be in the next county. On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. And trying to put points on the board on 3rd down. Now they're staring at 4th down. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Pitt will line up to punt it away. They'll look to pin him deep. He'll field the punt and see what he can get. Looking everywhere for room to run, but really good coverage, and he'll step out of bounds. Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense.
Get set, get set.
To throw, it's Marshall. He'll off one deep down the left side. And it was worth going for a chunk play, but the long pass is incomplete.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops, just not in sync, and that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
Right back to the air on 2nd and 10. Just goes right through the wicket and brings up 3rd down. Man, he will be thinking about that one.
The offense came into this game knowing that for them to win, they were going to have to make some big plays throwing the football. That just has not been the case. Here in the 4th quarter, they've been held to less than 200 passing yards, and that's really the story of the game, guys.
On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. He's going to run it. At the 40, there he goes. They are finding soft spots in this defense. He's got it down to the 25.
He can throw it. He can buy time. He can run it. What can't he do? This guy's so talented. When he does stuff like this, there's no way to stop it. There's no way to coach a defense up against this. He's just really fast, and I can't catch him.
The receivers often will run their route based on a side adjustment. 2 minutes now left in this one, and time is running short if they want to find a way to pull this one out. The Spartans will snap it on 1st and 10. Wide receiver now comes in motion. They'll throw it on 1st down. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30.
The defense puts the exclamation point on the day. They have had a wonderful day, man, doing everything great. Just, you could tell they were dialed into what was going on, and now just throw another sack in the equation, hitting the quarterback, being disrupted. They've been all over the field.
Right down the middle. The receiver was doubled, and they picked it off. Made the play on the pick, was hoping to make one on the return. He'll have to settle for letting the offense pay it off from the 26.
Nice job by this defense. That might be the exclamation point. 4th quarter, I got a lead. You bring on the nickel defense. You know they're passing the football for plays just like that to make the INT and almost put this one away.
The offense will stop the clock and use one of its timeouts.
Timeout, Pittsburgh.
Looking for a productive play on first down. Don't want to risk anything here. The quarterback takes a knee. Well, after not getting a thing done on first down, it's 2nd and long from the 24. The clock keeps going tick, 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 tick as the offense takes a knee inside. A minute to go in this one. Their work here is virtually done. No need to take any more chances. They'll line up in victory formation. The quarterback takes a snap and takes a knee. The old coaching cliche, go win or no every week. And for the first week, they get it done.
Great start to the season. That's what you want. You want to come out, find a way to win. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. You're going to find things to work on throughout the season. But 1-0, that's where you wanted to be.
And I think if you're the coaching staff of this winning team, you've got to like what you've just seen. First game of the year, there was tremendous effort on the field. Guys flying around, flying to the football, trying to make the plays necessary to win this game. They definitely made a few mistakes, but that's what practice is for. But if you're the coaching staff, I think you're very, very positive right now moving forward.
That's going to do it for us from here. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.